Instead, we're following the tradition her childhood friend started 7 years ago in wearing orange in her memory, after she was shot and killed at just 15 years old. What her friend started has now become a national day of awareness. Never underestimate what a small group of people can accomplish. Can you hear me okay? Take off the mask? All right. Never underestimate what a small group of people can accomplish nationwide. That's why I'm so happy you've joined us here today. Wear orange for National Gun Violence Awareness Day will always mean so much to me. Back in 2018, Wear Orange Weekend was where I met Rudy Corpus from United Playaz, Maddie Scott from Brady, and 2 volunteers from Giffords for a tabling event for the San Francisco Giants at Oracle Park. It struck me to know that even though we all had our personal reasons in getting involved in the gun violence prevention movement, we also shared an immense love for this city and its people. Even in its ugliest hours of heartache, where so many of our loved ones have been taken by violence, something so beautiful has come out of it. It's brought us all together. The reason why we're here today is to announce a community project that United Playaz and Moms Demand Action has been collaborating on since January. At this very location, it is our goal to bring together the message of each of our organizations. Every town's We Can End Gun Violence, United Playaz, It Takes the Hood to Save the Hood, and Maddie Scott's, It's About All of Us or None of Us. We're going to translate that message of unity onto that wall. We're also going to be honoring our loved ones and survivors in this city. It's going to take all of us to get involved and end gun violence together. And we need you to help us create a world of violence that we've imagined for so long, right now in this city. We hope you will join us in this crime prevention through environmental design project and take part in our upcoming events this weekend for Wear Orange. As a native San Franciscan, it gives me so much pride to introduce Rudy from United Playaz, a great partner in the gun violence prevention movement. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Testing. Welcome, everybody. So first off, before I even speak, we want to make sure we acknowledge the higher power upstairs to bless us in this space. So I'm going to bring up our pastor, right, who came all the way from San Jose to bless us on the mic, because we want to make sure we acknowledge the real mixed master blast upstairs. Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Come on, baby.
Well, God bless everybody. This is an awesome thing that's happening here. And we know gun violence will end because of people like you. But I'm going to open this up because we're going to invite God's presence to this place. Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, Lord. Lead us not all into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thy is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Lord, we just dedicate this building that lives will be saved and transformed in this place. To God be the glory, and God bless everybody.
Amen. Right on, Pastor. All right, baby. Let's help the pastor down. Thank you. Give one more time for our pastor, Pastor Sonny. Come on, y'all can do better than that. Yep. 400 million guns on the streets of America. My question to you is, what you gonna do about it? You gonna speak about it, or you gonna do something about it? Today, we are here in solidarity with so many people from different backgrounds, from different genders, from different ages, to speak about ending gun violence. So I take my hat off to every town, Moms Demand Action, everybody who's in solidarity to end senseless gun violence. Give yourselves a hand. What's up, Malik? I see you, Brother Malik. So we got a gang of speakers over here that we're going to bring up. So the first one I want to bring up is a mother who had lost her son to gun violence here in the streets of San Francisco. Please give a warm welcome to Clare, y'all.
Thank you, Alex and Rudy, for making this a reality. Camilo tipping his San Francisco Giants hat on a community building mural that will support young people in San Francisco. Camilo is my only child. He was born and raised in San Francisco, growing up in the Mission in Bernal. He loved to tease me that I was only a transplant while he was a native San Franciscan. Camilo went to San Francisco public schools and played sports every weekend in San Francisco playgrounds. He loved the beauty of the city, the diversity of the people and food, but most of all, he loved the San Francisco Giants, 49ers, and Warriors. Throughout Camilo's life, I worked for the city, and in his 20s, Camilo decided he also wanted to work for the city in the San Francisco Fire Department. He obtained his EMT from the San Francisco Paramedic Association and worked for Falk Ambulance while he continued on to paramedic school. In December of 2014, he finished paramedic school, and his 27th birthday was approaching. Camilo went for a rare night out to celebrate. On leaving Bruno's in the Mission to return home, he was shot and killed by a 21-year-old stranger. It was random and senseless. And my life was never the same. Like thousands of mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and friends in this country. As a mother, every time we hear of a new shooting, whether it is a mass shooting, a school shooting, or an individual shooting that receives little notice, we remember those first days, weeks, and months. It goes something like this. Wake up and realize anew our child is dead. Wake up and mourn anew that we are still alive. Wake up and feel again the punch to the gut. Like rebuilding from a war, we need to rebuild our lives that will never be the same. I was fortunate to find Moms Demand Action and the Everytown Survivor Network. As a volunteer California Everytown Survivor lead, I am able to encourage other gun violence survivors to use their voices, to say this is not acceptable, to work towards gun violence prevention, and to keep our loved ones alive in the world because we say their names. Thank you.
All right, now. So you see this wall right here. This wall, we're going to honor her son and paint a mural of Camilo up on here. He's going to be wearing that hat, the Giants hat. We got artists from San Francisco, from Frisco, that's going to be putting the art and making beautify this neighborhood. We was able to accomplish the celebration, right? What's up, Mayor London Braid? I'll see you. So some people have been asking me, why are we wearing orange? Well, let me tell you why we're wearing orange. It's National Gun Violence Awareness Month. We wear orange to signify to be seen. Because when people go hunting, what color do they wear? What color? Orange. So you could be seen. And so we want to acknowledge and let people know that we're tired of seeing our people being victimized and killed in the streets. Y'all forgot about that 400 million guns in America. So we have to play our part. And so I want to acknowledge Mission Hiring Hall, who's right down the block to provide services, right? The Soma West CBD with my brother Christian. Raise your hand, Christian. Cleaning the streets and making the streets safe in this neighborhood. Our own West Bay, my United Player team, where y'all at? Make some noise. My homegirl Maria from the Geo Taylor Street Center. Where y'all at? Y'all here? The Geo Project. Welcome you guys for being here. Positive Direction. Come on now. I see you, Steve. The Probation Department. The Office of Cannabis is here. Success Center. We got some people, I was told, from the Giants is in the building. I want to acknowledge also all my board members who are here. Make some noise for yourself, board members of United Players. I got to give a real bulletproof shout out to my brother Roberto Hernandez, the godfather or the mayor of the mission. I still want to get one of your low riders, player, for the Warriors parade. How about that? To celebrate. And so, without further ado, I want to bring on somebody else who has lost somebody to gun violence, and she's a youth. Please show some love for one of our youth, Haley Love, y'all. Come on up, Haley. What's up with Dome?
Hi, my name is Haley and I'm 11 years old. Yesterday I graduated from the 5th grade. Also, I am a member of UP and West Bay. My mom died from gun violence in 2019. Yes, I was 8 years old. It's affected me badly. I wish that she was here to see me graduate. Now my grandma is taking care of me and my brother. We need to stop using guns. Guns have been used to kill people for no reason, like my mom. We need to stop using guns violence. Thank you.
That's right, straight to the point. So I don't know if you heard, but the sister right here just graduated yesterday, y'all, from the 5th grade. Like my sister, Maddie Scott would say, we'd rather go to graduations instead of funerals, y'all. So we celebrating these youth. Maddie, this is one of them right here, Maddie, who's winning for us. She's from the hood, from the soil, from the trenches. But she's here to represent and let y'all know she's tired of what? What you tired of?
Gun violence?
Right on. Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to give a shout out to her grandmother, Tammy, right here, who does an amazing, phenomenal job with her and her grandson, Josh, right there. The second best three-point shooter, man, besides me. Next, I want to bring up, y'all know her, man. She's known worldwide. She's a powerful woman. This young lady right here, yes, she's a young lady to me. That's my home girl. Me and her go back like a hot bowl of menudo. Come on up, Nancy Pelosi. Come on up. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, we do go way back, as Rudy's been on this case for a while. And it's an honor to be with him in United Playaz and again join you in acknowledging the unity of the neighborhood, the collaboration. As Haley's shirt said, it takes a hood to save the hood. You've been telling us that for a long time, haven't you, Rudy? Grandma, thank you, thank you, thank you for taking care of precious Haley. And Claire, thank you for your generosity of spirit to share your story, and now an art display to touch the hearts of so many of us again and again and again from your sad loss. Imagine the courage of Claire and Haley to share their stories, to turn their grief into action to help save other lives, but also to touch our hearts so that we take the action necessary to stop the gun violence. I'm very proud of San Francisco and Mayor Breed. San Francisco is the first city in the country, I believe, to do the ghost guns legislation, and that is very, very, very important. I'm honored to be here with my girlfriend, Maddie Scott. You know, she has been our teacher over time, taking her sad experience and turning it into action. So effective was she that the member of Congress has one person that they appoint to the Electoral College to vote for President of the United States. From our district, from your district here, the 12th Congressional District of San Francisco, our member of the Electoral College to vote for Joe Biden is Maddie Scott. We thought it was very important to have a champion of gun violence prevention as our voice in that place. And here we are. I know that this event was planned before the tragedy in Texas, but after Buffalo. So sad that it should be so sad that another act of violence should be there. Let me tell you what we are doing as we observe the first week of June, which is Gun Violence Prevention Month. Next week, Congress will take up, and actually tomorrow, the Judiciary Committee will be marking up a bill that does the following. Raise the age to buy weapons of war, which is we call some of these, from 18 to 21. That age was recently reduced in Texas, and that's why an 18-year-old was able to buy that gun. Restricted access to ghost guns. Thank you, Mayor Breed, for being a leader in the country. Outlawing high-capacity magazines. Why do they need so many rounds in a magazine? Outlawing that. Banning bump stock sales for civilian use. Bump stock. And then cracking down on gun trafficking and straw purchases and the rest, as well as advancing safe storage so that kids in their own homes are not exposed to guns that are not safely stored. That's just a few. That's one bill marked up tomorrow. In the beginning of next week, we will have, some people don't like it called the red flag law, but it's actually has another name. It's the Extreme Violence Prevention Order. It enables people to appeal to the courts to have an order for people who should not be having access to guns to have them. Lucy McBath has that legislation, and that will be another one will be the active shooter bill, which will be like an Amber Alert. If there's an active shooter around, people will know, law enforcement will know. Law enforcement wants that right away. And then, as we get through those, we will be having a hearing and marking up the assault weapon ban following all of that. So we just are trying to hit it in every possible way. Of course, we want the Senate to pass the background check legislation, which will save more lives than any of the initiatives we have. The H.R. 8 and then Mr. Clyburn's bill for the South Carolina. I tell you all of these because each one of them is a place where we can save lives. Each one of them is a place where we hope to have bipartisan support to get the job done. Each one of us is a place where we wonder, why does it have to be this way? Why do they need so many magazines and assault weapon bans and everything to go hunting? What's that all about? When we have Haley here talking about losing her mom, Clare here talking about losing her son. I say to the members of Congress, in the House, I'm very proud we've passed our bills. I say to the senators, not one of your political survivor, the political survivals of not one of you is more important than the personal survivor of America's children and their families. So again, I thank my friend Rudy. I'm a big fan of his. He gives us our marching orders, right? We all know that. We can end gun violence. And as Maddie knows, because she's heard us say it in the Capitol again and again and again to the survivors of gun violence, we are not going to stop until the job is done. And leading the way for all of that with us is President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, from the White House to the Capitol to San Francisco City Hall. Let all of us do everything we can for the survival of our children. Thank you so much.
One more time, y'all, for the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Don't she look good in that orange, y'all? I want to acknowledge a couple of more people that's up in here. I want to give a shout out to Shannon Watts, the founder of Moms Demand Action. I know she's somewhere in here. Raise your hand. Are you in here? Shannon Watts, thank you for showing up. To my neighborhood in this alley, who would ever thought that we have Nancy Pelosi and Mayor London Breed in my alley? God is good, huh, Sonny? Shouts out to Sonny Schwartz right there. What's up, sis? I see you. My brother right there, Chester Bodine. What's up, player? Thanks for making it. Ended gun violence. So, I wanna bring up my sister, my homegirl, who was relentless in fighting for everything in this city. Without further ado, I want to bring up London Breed, our mayor.
Thank you, Rudy. I don't know about you, but I've been really emotional. And I'm not a crier like that, but I've been really emotional about what's happened to those kids and those teachers at Robb Elementary School in Texas. And it got me to thinking. It got me to thinking, I don't even remember living my life without gun violence. And when I was growing up in the Fillmore, going to school was my sanctuary. When I went to school, I knew I was okay. I knew that I'd be able to play at recess and eat lunch and hang out with my friends and play hopscotch and all the things that kids should be doing. And many of us remember probably what happened in 1999 at Columbine. That rocked us to a core where we felt, well, what's next? Are our schools really safe? And you would think, as devastating as guns have been on the lives of not just us as adults, but on children, that there would be other members of Congress who would have the courage to not just want to protect their kids, but other people's kids too. What happened to us? What happened to who we are as human beings and a desire to put life above all things, to support and uplift our families, our communities, our children? I can't even imagine what those parents were going through, wondering if their child is safe. And I would hope that any other human being with common decency would feel the same way and would do everything they could to change our laws so it would be impossible for anyone to be able to lay their hands on a gun. As we talk about violence awareness, it's sad that we have to be here. Yesterday there was a rally that the teachers union did in front of City Hall. to honor the people who were victims in Texas and those in Buffalo. Our seniors, our African American seniors who lost their lives because of racism, because of hate. And at the source of all this pain and all this frustration are weapons of mass destruction that no one should be able to get their hands on under any circumstances. So it's not hard for us in San Francisco. It's not hard for us and under the leadership of Supervisor Catherine Stephanie when it came time when these ghost guns began to take flight. It wasn't hard for us to make that hard decision. It wasn't hard for us when I served on the Board of Supervisors to get rid of all the gun stores, to work with former Supervisor Malia Cohen to ban the sale of magazines, to stop the hollow point bullets from being sold in our community. And working with Rudy and working with Brothers Against Guns, Sean Richards and others, finally getting the Cow Palace to stop those horrible gun shows that market to our community and our kids. I don't know one person who hasn't been impacted in some way by gun violence. It's sad that this is the thing that unites us. But what I know, especially about the people of this city, we're relentless in our pursuit for justice. We're relentless in our pursuit to change policies, to change hearts and minds about something that has such a devastating impact on us. And if not now, when? So that other kids like Haley have to grow up without knowing who their parents are? This is not normal. This only happens in the United States. It only happens because we let the gun lobby control the people who are in power. But you know what? We have power too. We have incredible organizations. And when you get moms mad, boy, you better watch out. Because moms are demanding action. United Players is taking the hood to save the hood. We're coming together. And whenever we have to show up for something like this to make it clear that we won't continue to tolerate this and we will push for real changes to gun policies in this country, trust and believe it will happen. And let's also recognize that it's been a hard 2 years. It's been a hard 2 years for all of us, our kids, our grown-ups, and everyone else. And I just made an announcement for my budget investments, which will include support from mental health, especially for our children. Because I never want them to get to that place where a line is crossed. When people say they need help, we need to believe them, and we need to make sure the resources are available to support them. We need to be there for one another more than ever before. So as we talk about making awareness to this issue for the month of June, let's just rededicate ourselves to making real change, to turning lives around, to being more worried about other people's kids and not just our own. I was raised in public housing, but I was raised in a village by mothers like Maddie Scott, by people who told me when I was doing something wrong. Let's start being concerned about other people's kids. They're all our responsibilities. They're all our responsibilities. June 3rd is National Gun Violence Awareness Month, and we have declared it so in the city and county of San Francisco. And in recognition of this, we will light up City Hall in the color of orange so that people all over this city and all over this country know that San Francisco will continue to stand proud and strong against gun violence in any way we possibly can, not just in our city, but in this country. Let's end it now. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for our mayor of San Francisco, London Breed. Right on. Churches, supermarkets, right? Places of worship where people can't even go to just to feel safe and to feel free. Where people are coming up there with semi-automatic guns. I'm talking about weapons of war that's popping up and just squeezing the trigger and knocking down and killing kids in schools. That's not normal. That's not right. And if you don't feel some type of way to end that, then you got to reevaluate yourself and check yourself before you wreck yourself. And you're going to be by yourself. This is serious, y'all. Don't wait till it happens to somebody you love or somebody you know to say, guess what? I want to be active in this. We standing tall right now with Nancy, with London, with Maddie, with Dr. Campbell, with Haley, with Roberta, all these people here who are standing together. So when you talk about power, you talk about unifying and coming together under one umbrella. When George Floyd passed away, may he rest in peace, we had hundreds of thousands of people walking the streets of all over this nation. When 19 kids get killed, where's the outcry for that? We need to have people march in the streets and be angry and upset about that also. So, I want to bring up one of our district supervisors who stands tall against ending senseless gun violence. Bring it up. Let's bring up our district supervisor number 2, Catherine Stephanie, y'all.
Thank you, Rudy. Just love you so much. And thank you, Alex, for helping put this together. And to you, Speaker Pelosi, thank you for your leadership. You have been there from the beginning. You have been a gun violence champion for as long as I have been in this fight. You were there at our first memorial for Sandy Hook in December of 2013, ringing that bell with Christine, your daughter. And you, Mayor Breed, a champion as well. You were there at one of our memorials at St. Dominic's, and you shared your story, and I really think I saw Chief Scott cry because it was so moving. What you've been through and how you lead here in San Francisco is exactly the type of leadership we need. And to you, Haley, I can't tell you how much your bravery means to all of us. We are all here for you. I know when we started planning this event and when you all started planning this event, it was to celebrate the grant you received from Everytown for Gun Safety to advance the cause of crime prevention through environmental design. The grant will be used to fund a new clubhouse and will also include a mural to, I know, I'm on my tippy toes right now. Thank you, Rudy. That was going to be a very good calf exercise. So the grant will be used to fund a new clubhouse here and will include a mural to honor the life of Camilo Sencha Beltran and other victims and survivors of gun violence. And I just want to take a minute to talk about Camilo. I will never forget sitting across the kitchen table from Camilo's mother, Clare, in early 2015 when I was the leader of San Francisco Moms Demand Action chapter. I got a call about a mother who was struggling because she lost her son, her only child, to gun violence here in San Francisco, and we wanted to reach out to provide her with whatever support she needed. As she told her story of how her world absolutely ended that day and the disruption that ensued in her life because of the shooting, I struggled at that kitchen table to maintain my composure. The grief seemed too enormous to bear. I remember getting into my car and just bursting into tears, calling another mom in our group, and being more determined than ever to put an end to this insanity. Just a few months later, Clare joined Moms Demand Action and became one of our fiercest leaders in our survivor network. And she continues to help so many families who find themselves in this horrible position. I was looking back at some of our emails between me and Claire, and there's one from September 2015 about a rally we were having in Union Square. And I reached out and I said, hey, Claire, do you think you might want to come and speak to the media? And she said, okay, no experience, but willing to start talking to media when opportunity presents itself. Claire has gone on to speak to the media, at rallies, with families, and has been one of the strongest survivor leads in moms in every town. So please give it up for Clare. We love you. May this mural to honor Camilo's life remind us of Claire's beautiful son, that the pain of gun violence has a ripple effect that reaches everyone in our community, and that we all have a part to play in ending this gun violence epidemic. But we know that gun violence is a disruptor in so many ways, and today's gathering has become so much more than just celebrating the future of this incredible new space at United Playaz. We're all struggling right now, as Mayor Breed said. We're struggling because we all believe we have an obligation to keep our children and our communities safe from gun violence. And I know none of us are feeling good about where our country stands right now. Not just not good, we are sickened, we are disgusted, and we are outraged. This has been an unbelievably difficult week for all of us in the gun violence prevention community. The mass shooting in Buffalo that claimed 10 lives was only 2 weeks ago. City Attorney David Chu and I started writing an op-ed together after Buffalo to stress that we needed to use our gun violence restraining order program here in San Francisco much more than we are. California's red flag law, as it's known, was passed in 2016, and in 2018 I created our local ordinance to get guns out of the hands of those that would harm themselves or others. Our city attorney's office has been great, but we need more resources to do more, especially given that shootings in San Francisco here have skyrocketed in the last 2 years. By the time we finished writing that op-ed, at least 3 other mass shootings occurred in Chicago, Laguna Woods, and Uvalde, where we know 19 students and 2 teachers were killed by an 18-year-old who legally purchased AR-15s on credit. He didn't just purchase them, he put them on credit because these gun stores have financing plans where an 18-year-old in Texas can go purchase these weapons of war on credit with no background check in Texas. This is insane, and it certainly isn't well regulated. This is the world the gun lobby wants us to live in because it makes them and their clients rich. Since Uvalde, there have been at least 18 more mass shootings in this country, disrupting and ruining thousands more lives. 10 people were shot at an outdoor party in Charleston, South Carolina. 4 people are in critical condition. A pregnant woman was one of those victims. 8 people were shot at an outdoor festival in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 1 died, others in critical condition, and several teenagers were shot. Last Saturday in Austin, Michigan, a man killed his wife and her 3 children, ages 6, 4, and 3. The shooter tried to kill himself but survived, and he's in critical condition. These are just a few samples of the horror that easy access to guns in this country is causing. And most of these incidents remain unnamed and unheard of, and they're not in the news, yet they happen every single day in this country. What does it say about us as a society that we continue to allow our children to be slaughtered in their classrooms? That white supremacists can arm their despicable hate and kill 10 people who are just grocery shopping? Those 50 senators in D.C. who do nothing are failing entire generations through their inaction. They must be removed from office. And don't tell me it's not possible, because we've seen what we can do. Just ask former Senator Kelly Ayotte from New Hampshire and many others who have faced our wrath. Many of us have been doing our part to disrupt the gun lobby for decades now, and we have made progress. And for all those saying nothing has changed, they just haven't been paying attention. Moms demand action members showing up in their red shirts everywhere across this country, and Brady and Giffords and Maddie Scott just by herself. We have been able to achieve unprecedented victories against the gun lobby at the ballot box, in state legislatures, and in corporate America. In San Francisco alone, we've passed groundbreaking legislation. When I was a legislative aide with then Supervisor Farrell, we passed legislation that required the videotaping of gun sales in gun stores and reports of ammunition sold filed with the police. Because of that legislation, we ran the last gun store out of San Francisco because they didn't want to comply. We also passed the strongest safe storage legislation, requiring not only handguns to be locked up and secured safely, but all guns, wherever they might be, in your home or in the trunk of your car. Since I became supervisor, we've banned concealed carry at public events through the First Amendment Protection Act. We expanded our gun violence restraining order program. We are the first city in California to pass a ghost gun ban, and now several cities and counties have followed our lead. And we are now putting the pressure on our state. We've built and expanded community programs like Rudy's over here, United Playaz, to intervene before violence occurs. And one of my favorites, we called out the NRA for what it is, a domestic terrorist organization. It's time for us to not only disrupt the gun lobby, but it is time for us to destroy them. We must do everything in our power to make them irrelevant, to prevent them from destroying our families, our communities, and our country. As my friend Caitlin said, who I started the San Francisco Moms chapter with, and now it's on one of our many t-shirts, don't thank us, join us. It's imperative that we all get involved in this fight. I have been involved since Columbine, and I refuse to give up. I just refuse. We will all keep going together. We will not stay silent. We will continue to demand action, and we will not rest until the last grave site we visit is that of the NRA and the gun lobby.
Give it up for our district supervisor number 2, Catherine Stephanie. Strong words. I also want to acknowledge other people who's in this fight to end gun violence. CYC's in the house. SVIP is in the house. And of course, the SFPD. Thank you guys for always coming through and representing. I know it's tough on you guys, Captain. I want to bring up our next speaker. He is our actual district supervisor of District 6 right now. It's my good friend. I'm meeting him and getting to know him. We holding him accountable. Matt Dorsey, y'all.
Thanks so much, Rudy. So my name is Matt Dorsey, and for the last couple of years, before I was appointed to the Board of Supervisors, I worked in the San Francisco Police Department, and I watched the preponderance of ghost guns and watching gun violence rates go up. But even before that, there was 14 years that I spent in the San Francisco City Attorney's Office, and I watched the fight, the legal fight that happened. That was a powerful reminder of how much it matters that we support leaders like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and Democratic Party leaders, because the loss of the Supreme Court meant in just recent years, we've lost cases like Heller and McDonald that have made it incredibly difficult to have any kind of legal restrictions on handguns and weapons and assault weapons. We have to continue that fight, and we also have to do everything, fight every place we can for the policies that we can enact to get dangerous weapons off the street and to ban ghost guns. I am so honored to be able to work with Supervisor Catherine Stephanie, who sits next to me at the Board of Supervisors. I'm also reminded that I sit at a desk of a gun violence victim. I sit at Harvey Milk's desk in the board chambers. It is incredibly important, given the limitations that we have, to enact the kinds of gun policies that we should have if we had a more enlightened Supreme Court in this country, to support neighborhood organizations and community-based organizations like United Playaz, because we have to give an alternative to violence to young people who may turn to that life. That's why I'm so grateful for organizations like United Playaz. and programs like the gun buyback program. So I'm going to do everything I can on the Board of Supervisors to support the expansion of United Playaz, to support the gun buyback program. This is a time of year when I've had the opportunity to go to graduations. That's what I want to be going to, graduations. I don't want to go to funerals. God forbid we have any, but let's graduations, not funerals. That's what I'm hoping to do here. Thanks so much, everybody.
You talk about graduation. This is my nephew right here. Austin, come on up. This guy, man, just graduated Balboa High School. Come from the hood. Thank you, man, for showing up. Give him a hand one more time. Graduating. That's right. Thanks for showing up. You want to say anything? Sure. He played on a football team that won the state champ? That's right. What number was you? Number 66. When he make it to the NFL, don't forget about us, though. Thank you, Uso. Show him the ring. Let me wear that ring one time. I'm going to wear this to the duration so he can't leave. Thank you. Give him one more hand, y'all. Thank you, Uso. All right. I got to give a shout out to, I seen Honey in the house. Thank you for showing up. I know it's late notice, but I still want to make sure that you are here because you matter. Thank you. I see Manu here. Public Defender Manu. What's up, player? The next speaker I bring up, we got a couple of more speakers. This dude is a miracle. This dude right here saves life. He's a real superhero. A lot of people do not see him because he's actually be behind the closed doors up at Zuckerberg Hospital, General Hospital, as I know, saved many lives. He touched me, and he touched my son. Give it up for Mr. Dr. Campbell, y'all. Give it up to our sound man right there. I know it's hot down there, brother, but you're doing your thing.
Good afternoon. I said good afternoon. It's great to be here. Distinguished guests, Mayor Breed, Speaker Pelosi, Supervisor Stephanie, and many, many others, and of course, Rudy Corpez, thank you so much for inviting me here and sponsoring this event. I want to give a shout out to the moms. Moms Demand Action. I'm honored to be here, and I know, Rudy, you have connectivity with us because your son was here, and you were at San Francisco General. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Andre Campbell. I'm a trauma surgeon at San Francisco General Hospital, and I work with a dedicated administrative staff, doctors, nurses, therapists, support staff, dietary staff, who work 24/7 to provide care for everyone in the city and the county in San Francisco. If you're a victim of crime, or if you're injured, we're proud to take care of you. We're one of the top trauma centers in the United States. And I say that, one of the top in the United States. And we're happy to provide services for each and every one of you when we do it. In many ways, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We send our thoughts and prayers enough to all these victims of the shootings that I've seen and you've seen around the country. The collective will of people is for us to make some changes so that gunshot wounds are not the #1 cause of death in children in the United States of America. That is a shameful fact. More than automobile accidents, more than other accidents, it is from gun violence why kids are killed. We all have heavy hearts this week because of the shooting in Uvalde, Texas. 19 young people who are dead and 2 brave teachers. None of us would have think that 10 years after the shooting in Sandy Hook, 20 years after Columbine, that we'd still be talking about that. Still here. There's been 27 mass shootings in the United States so far this year. There's been 18, as we heard, since the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, just 1 week ago. We've surpassed 200 mass shootings this year already. A mass shooting is when 4 or more people are killed. All these shootings have one thing in common. They're carried out by AR-15s. This is a really uniquely American problem, as you've heard. Does not happen in other countries, and we have to take measures to fix this problem. The AR-15 is a weapon of mass destruction. It's used on the battlefield to destroy an enemy. It is a gun that is used in warfare and should not be available on the streets of the United States. The assault weapons fire a big bullet that travels very fast, and it causes devastating injury to the human body. It's as if a bomb went off in a patient, my patient I take care of. It's traveling at 3,251 feet per second, and the bullets cause what's called cavitation. That means around the bullet there's a large area of destruction that kills people. Or in simple terms, it makes a big hole. The skin, the muscles, the blood vessels, the nerves, the bones are all destroyed, and it reaps total devastation to the people that are affected. All humanity is destroyed by these bullets hitting the body, causing death and destruction. Tissues are pulverized and permanently damaged, and lives are affected by this. Gun violence should be viewed as a public health problem in the United States. Last year, 20,000 people were killed in gun-related incidents. Mass shootings attract the most publicity, but major cities like New York, Chicago, Baltimore, here in San Francisco, we have victims who come to our hospital every day, including this morning. Imagine if the equivalent of 40 wide-body planes crashed each year, killing that many people. We would ground all the planes in the United States, and we try to figure out what's happening. We do not have this urgency now, except in everybody who's here today, to make this change. Remember the names of the incidents where assault weapon ban started in California after Stockton killing in Stockton in 1989 that killed 5 students. We've had mass shootings here in San Francisco. There's been shootings, Columbine, Sandy Hook, Las Vegas, and the names go on. Our hearts break after each one of these mass shootings for the victims and their families. One recent paper cited a 70% decrease in mass shootings in the period that the national assault weapon ban was in place. I don't know how many lives it saved, but the ban in California saved a bunch of lives. Even during the biggest pandemic in 100 years, these shootings have persisted. The preferred weapon of mass shooters, the assault rifle with extended magazines. All of the recent mass shootings, all of them are from these AR-15s. We have gotten much better in the hospital caring for victims after they're shot over the last several decades, but we cannot save everyone. Each time when I must go into the quiet room and talk to a family, and I know some people I've been here with in those rooms, and tell them that the loved one is dead, it's heartbreaking. No matter what I say, I know my words will change their lives forever. Mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, they all cry out in pain when I tell them what happened. When we lose patients, we lose a bit of ourselves. We must change the way this problem is viewed nationally. Mass shooting gets a lot of publicity, but it's the day-to-day incidents that we have at San Francisco General Hospital and other hospitals around the country that people don't hear about. Chicago, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, and others. We need common sense changes in the law. Simple things like background checks, red flag laws, limited magazines of these weapons, banning AR-15s, safe storage, not letting psychiatric patients gain access to weapons. So there are many others that we can talk about, but we have to move, and I'm proud of what we've done in San Francisco, proud of all that has been done in the House of Representatives. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Supervisor Stephanie. Thank you for everything you've done. We appreciate that. In conclusion, as a trauma surgeon, I view gun violence as a major public health problem for all Americans. Patients are injured in mass shootings each year, but we have victims that get admitted to trauma center every day. The pandemic has not stopped the onslaught of death and destruction for children and adults. We must find solutions to this terrible public health emergency to protect all of us in the United States today. The time for action is now. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your invitation.
All day. Keep saving them lives, baby. Hey, I got to give it up one more time for Dr. Campbell. who saves countless of lives, saved my son. So, we got a couple of more speakers. We got a request from Nancy. She wants to come back up. So, Nancy.
Thank you. Just for less than a minute. When I followed Haley and Claire, it was very emotional. And there's some things I wanted to say that I didn't get around to. One of them is that in the appropriations bill for this coming season, we will have $4 million for Rudy, where are you? There you go, for United Playaz. $4 million for your new building. For your new building. From the House of Representatives. My daughter Christina's here with him. We've been with Maddie every year, Mother's Day. This year, Mayor, remember we had the beautiful lunch right up until Mother's Day to pay our sadness to moms who had lost their children. Of course, Maddie leading the way there. But there's another person who isn't here that I want to mention who has been a real champion from California, and that is Senator Dianne Feinstein. She was the one who first passed the assault weapon ban in the 90s. She still continues to make that fight. She sends you all her gratitude and best regards. She couldn't be here. They're still in session, but we just want to show our appreciation to her because she has been the leader in that United States Senate where we need so many more votes. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much.
Hey, once again, I want to say thank you, Nancy Pelosi. 4 million thank yous. I want to say thank you, Mayor London Breed, for always looking out for the right people, because without you, this building right here wouldn't be purchased. And this building's going to be for literacy for the kids, and it's going to be for reentry for brothers and sisters that's coming on. So thank you, Mayor London Breed, Nancy Pelosi, for putting your money where your mouth is. Because they say money talks and what? Bullshit walks. Facts, big facts. It's going to go to a good cause. So I want to bring up the captain of our neighborhood, SFPD, a good friend of mine, Captain Falvey.
Madam Speaker, Your Honor, the Mayor, Supervisors, the District Attorney, Public Defender, I just want to say as a representative of the Police Department, we're here to work with the community to do what we can to help end gun violence. We have officers out here every day working to get guns off the street. Move it up. Thank you. We're out here every day trying to get guns off the streets and end gun violence. And we're a small part of the whole process, law enforcement. But we have a lot of different facets, and we're willing to work with the community in a lot of different ways. So we come out with Rudy every December, and we do the gun buyback program. And in the last 3 years, we've taken over 900 guns off the street through the gun buyback program. That's just an example of the community engagement. We've been working with nonprofits. We have West Bay here and the youth of the neighborhood. We've been partnering with them. We continue to work with them. They've got a lot of really good role models out here, a lot of good examples from people of how to end conflict without resorting to violence. And in any way that we can help as a police department come out, whether it be through PAL or whether it be National Night Out, we stand here committed to work with you to end this violence problem, because we're out in the streets with you. And we know there's violence directed at everyone, and it's a risk to everyone. And we want to work with you to make that stop. So Rudy, we will continue, and I appreciate the partnership. Rudy's always inviting the police to come to these events. We've done marches, we've done candlelight vigils, and we will continue to do whatever we can as a police department to support those efforts to make San Francisco the safest city in America. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Captain. And so before we bring up our last speaker, I want to thank a lot of people who actually made this happen. Where's Celeste at? Celeste, thank you, Celeste. Where's Rebecca? Rebecca, right here from Nancy Pelosi's office. And I would be wrong if I didn't acknowledge this young lady right here who actually sparked this all up. It wasn't even my idea. It's Alex right here. From Moms Demand Action. You work with Alex, she's going to hold you accountable. So thank you so much, Alex, for actually making this happen. You brought everybody together. You know, she did all the heavy lifting. And so I want to say thank you for your relentless and phenomenal work for helping to end gun violence. Thank you so much. I love you right back. I want to bring up a mother who has lost her son to gun violence. She's no stranger to this. She's a powerful speaker. She speaks from her heart, and she changed many, many lives because she helps out moms. She helps out organizations like Us for Us with my brother Pop and Damien, who I know somewhere around here. Who she gets speakers like my brother right here, Boogie, a.k.a. right here, Everett Butler, whose boots is to the ground, always fighting, who connects with brothers who even works at deli boards, like my brother Adam back there, who helps out. Because food is a part of the movement, baby. Remember that. And I want to thank my United Player team who's always here supporting us in West Bay, who surround us with the spirit of love to make sure everything and everybody are safe. Give them a hand, y'all. For everybody who lost somebody to senseless gun violence, Clare, Haley, the rest of you guys who's out here, let's bring up Maddie Scott. You on deck?
Thank you, Rudy, my brother. My brother from another mother. I love him. Yes. It's sad that we have to be here today on this occasion, but it's a good day. It is a good day because 25 years ago when I lost my son to gun violence, along with a lot of other mothers who lost their children to gun violence in my neighborhood, there was nobody there. There was nobody there. And today, I feel hopeful. I feel blessed. A lot of those mothers didn't make it. A lot of them perished because of the hurt and the pain that they suffered from losing their child to gun violence. I have one mother who lost three sons to gun violence in her neighborhood. So if she goes to the grocery store, she's reminded. If she goes to the post office, she's reminded of her son. And if she goes even to church across the street where her other son was gunned down, she's reminded. It's mothers like her that give me strength, that gives me courage to keep moving and to keep going. Mothers like my mother. My mother just turned 100 years old, you all. 100 years old. And I think about that, all what she went through, how she held me up when I lost my son, because I was a wreck. I was angry. I was mad. I wanted revenge. Here I was, a daycare provider in my neighborhood, taking care of everybody's children, and then my child gets killed and nobody comes forward to say a word. It rocked my soul and it broke my heart. But I understood later the fear. I understood the fear and why no one wanted to come forward. I understood at that time because our communities was plagued with drugs and gangs and, you know, things that brought people down and put fear in people. Today that has changed. That has changed because of people like Mayor London Breed, people like our Speaker and Congress leader, Nancy Pelosi, people like United Players, and the men coming home from incarceration, people like Sean Richards, people like our Brady campaign, leaders who fight every day relentlessly to bring some of the laws that our speakers talked about earlier, the safe storage, being 21 to purchase a gun. You have to be 21 to purchase a gun. It should be that way. You shouldn't be able to go in the store and buy a gun at 18 years old without a background check, without a mental health exam, and without something to show that you're capable of handling that weapon. I lost my youngest son, George C. Scott, 25 years ago. 25 years ago. 25 years ago. And when the children, the other day when those kids were murdered, my grandson and I, he was 6 years old at the time his dad was murdered. He was 5. Take that back. He was 5. He was away at camp. And his father was shot and killed on July 17th. July 18th, the next day, was my grandson's 6th birthday. He's calling, looking for his dad. Why his dad hasn't called him to wish him happy birthday? I had to be the one to tell my grandson on his birthday, your dad died and went to heaven. I couldn't tell him how he died. I couldn't tell him that he was shot 6 times with a semi-automatic weapon in my neighborhood by someone he knew. Someone that slept in his bed, someone that wore his clothes. I couldn't tell my grandson that. And I was angry and I was mad and I was bitter. But thank God for my mother. Thank God for looking down on me and helping me to get through it. Because it was so many of us at that time, so many of us so full of pain. It was 96 homicides that year. My son was number 53. 96. 96. And so the other day when we lost those 19 beautiful, innocent children and those 2 teachers, like Mayor Breed, my heart broke. It broke. It broke for the parents. It broke how they responded. Those children were calling 911. They were calling to get help. And it took people forever to get to them. That's not acceptable, y'all. That's not acceptable. There's a lot that we have to do in this country to change the hatred, to bring down this ugly beast of hatred that took the lives of those in Buffalo, New York, in a grocery store. We have to pull down the hatred that took the lives of those in Columbine, that took the lives of those in a prayer meeting, in a church. We have to bring down this hatred, because I remember growing up in the South, 4 little girls in that church bombing. I'll never forget that. But my grandmother and my mother gives me hope. They say, we serve a God that is able. We serve a God that loves us, molded us, and shaped us for his glory. And America is built on the word of God. America, we could do better, because this is about all of us and none of us. And we have to stop the killing and start the healing. We have to do it. We have to help our leaders. We have to help Mayor Breed. We have to help Supervisor Stefani. We have to help our congressional leaders. And yes, we have to vote. I already voted early. I voted. Because voting, we have to take our souls to the polls, because that's where the answer is. And then we got to take our souls to the street. We cannot stop. We cannot stop. We cannot let June be the month of just mass destruction of violence. We have to turn it around, and we can, because we outnumber the NRA. It's more of us than there are they. There are more of us than there. We outdo evil. There's more good in us than there is evil. I see it today in all of you. I see hope today. Even though I'm sad, my heart is heavy for those parents, I feel hopeful. I feel hopeful because 25 years ago, I didn't see this. I did not see this. There was no one there. There was no one there. But today, that's why I work so hard with the Brady United Against Gun Violence and helping to change laws. Every day we are at the pedal, making sure that the laws are changed for gun violence restraining orders, for domestic violence, to make sure that you're 21 and that you've passed a background check, to make sure that there's universal background checks all over the country, not just here in San Francisco and California, but all over the whole country. We need to send the NRA a message. We did the other day with Brady. In Ventura County, our Brady team went down there and we protested in front of the NRA office. We stood our ground in front of the NRA building. And that's what we have to do. We have to let them know that we're not going anywhere. Your money cannot buy our hearts. Your money cannot buy justice. Your money cannot save lives. Only we can do that. This is about all of us or none of us. I care about your child. I care about my neighbor's child. I care about Haley. I will be her mother. I can't be her mother that she had, but I will be a mother to her as best as I can. And that's what we do in communities. We step up to the plate. We step up to the plate, nurture those that need nurturing. That's how you build a village. We need the village. We are the village keepers. I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. This is about all of us and none of us. We got to feel that. I don't want you leaving here feeling that this was just another rally. What are you going to do about it? Talk to your neighbors. Have neighborhood meetings in your neighborhood like we used to do. I fry fish and invite all the fellas over and let's talk about what's hurting you, what's eating you. Let me feed you some love. Let me feed you. I'll do anything to keep you from picking up a gun. I'll go out my way. Yes, I will. With that mother, with that son, with that daughter. We have all the tools right here in our hands, right here in our heart. All of us. So can we stop the killing and start the healing? Can we stop the killing and start the healing? Because this is about all of us or none of us. Our leaders are doing all they can, but it's our turn. It is our turn. It is our turn. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for what you do. And as we always do it, Rudy, everybody grab somebody. Everybody grab somebody's hand right now. Come on. Let's get this circle going. We have healing circles. It's time to put down what you got in your hand and let's make a circle.
Hey, can we call up Cesar Dumate to come do a prayer for us? The way we started this, we want to end with prayer. Come on.
Everybody connect with somebody, please, because it's about touch.
All right. First of all, I just want to thank God. And God, we love you so much. Please protect us. Protect our family, our friends, and even our enemies. We'll always love you, and please always bless us and let us always be safe, especially our kids. We love you and we thank you. Amen.
Amen. All right now. All right, y'all. We need y'all to come up here to take a picture. Testing. When I say you, you say P. You. You. When I say one, you say love. One. One. That's what we need, y'all. Thank you to every town. Moms Demand Action. the Brady campaign, and all your community organizations that came out. We want to thank you, Nancy Pelosi, Mayor London Briggs, Dr. Campbell, all the rest of the speakers, the district supervisor. Thank you, Matt Dorsey, for coming out. Give yourselves a hand, y'all. They leaving. The speakers, they got to go. Thank you guys for coming out to end senseless gun violence, y'all. All right now.